Welcome to episode 23 of season 4 of the Gateway Geeks Podcast. This time we talk the release of the prestige film Mortal Kombat, wrap up Falcon and Winter Soldier, and give you our quarantine reading picks. Now your hosts, Sarah, Tracy, Wendy, Aaron, Chris, and Joe. Okay. All right, welcome everybody to episode 23 of season 4 of the Gateway Geeks Podcast. This time we've got the whole crew, and we're going to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier and the new Mortal Kombat movie. So we'll talk about that. So just for the introduction thing, we're talking about a book that we've read at some point in our lives, because many of us have been too demoralized to read a whole lot. And I won't name names here, but I'm guessing it's a great many.
How dare you? I'm just stupid.
No.
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, Sarah. I cannot admit on camera that I haven't read as much as I like, or they'll take my library degree. I can't do that.
Okay, yeah, so, that's fair.
Yeah.
No,
only one of us has done quasi-professional book reviews. So
yeah, I used to be a quasi-professional book reviewer. I made tens of dollars doing that.
Well, I mean, it's not nothing. That's.
And now it's been mumble cough since I've last read a book. I honestly don't know.
Oh my God. Okay, well here, let me show you the book I'm going to talk about, because you'll feel better immediately. It's total trash, but I love it. So this is I don't know if any of you guys have read anything by Joe Abercrombie before, but he writes like he's like a slightly more talented R.A. Salvatore, actually. So that's how I'm gonna pitch him. But so The Blade itself is the first in a trilogy by a guy who, oh my God, I'm gonna have to say his name's Logan Ninefingers, and I'm 12 years old. He's a Viking. It's very fighty, but it's great because it's total escapist trash. I mean, it's like very short declarative sentences, lots of description of weapons and blood. If you just and it's one of those that is like, it's like a 700-page book, but it takes you like 5 hours to read, just because it's so it goes so quickly. So it's nice this time of in our history to be reading something like that.
Sure. Who's
going next? Oh, I'm Joe, by the way. Damn it!
You had one job.
A well-oiled machine, this podcast.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I realized that the only book I've read in months, because my life has been insane, is, and this is my comfort read. I need you people to know how on brand I am. I've been rereading Mary Beard's SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome.
That's on brand, definitely.
But I highly recommend it, because it's a great narrative history book for people who like narrative history. It's 100% made for like someone who goes, "Hey, Rome, that's a city, right?" Or someone with a lot of background knowledge. Okay, great generality I'm just going to throw out there. Women historians are much better at narrative history than male authors are.
Yes.
Just gonna say it, because at no point is her ego a character in this story of the retelling of ancient Rome. And I recommend anything she's written, but SPQR is my favorite.
I also own that. We had an opportunity early in the pandemic. She did a presentation at I forget what museum, and we watched it live, and she's a wonderfully chipper little old British lady who was talking about prostitution. She's quite wonderful. Excellent. If you ever get an opportunity to see one of her lectures.
Nice.
Mary Beard and Lucy Worsley, whatever they're doing, I'm on board.
I love Lucy Worsley.
Lucy Worsley has to play dress up everywhere she goes. It's lovely.
Yes.
Even if it's as a man.
Well, what was that?
I guess, all right.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Wendy Robb, and I am coming to you loud and clear from Aaron's computer because mine's weird.
Yeah.
The book I am currently in the process of reading is Jenny Lawson's Broken in the Best Possible Way. Jenny is also known as the Bloggist. She's written 3 books. I'm a huge fan of hers because she is very open, not only about her struggles with mental illness, but about how her experiences with that have shaped her life, and how finding the broken things can make you sometimes feel better about dealing with things. Like her last book was, her first book was Let's Pretend This Never Happened. And the second book, I'm blanking on the title. This is going to be, I'm a bad Bloggist fan. But like I said, she writes, Furiously Happy, where she writes about, like, if you have depression, when you're depressed, when you're not depressed, if you work to be furiously happy, you can remember that. So when you're down in the hole, you can remember what it's like to not feel like that. This is a little more deep, but it had me laughing hysterically on page 9 and in tears by page 12, which is always a good sign.
There was one chapter she made me read where on her Twitter feed, she once upon a time she relayed an embarrassing story that ended with, and so I can never go back there again, and which led to just this outpouring of people sharing these incredibly human stories of like one, for example, is going to a retail shop, the retailer person saying, thank you for shopping here, and the person replying with, yes, and you as well. So I was like, and now I can never come back here.
A friend thanks me for coming to their husband's funeral. My reply, anytime.
And it's just, and what's magnificent about the chapter is periodically in all of these reprinting of people's responses, she'll share her insight of, just this, naked humanity, accepting, just how delightfully flawed we are, and everyone basically being able to relate, just how, I do stupid shit like that all the time.
That's one of the reasons her blog is so wonderful, and her fans refer to ourselves as her tribe, because you go on there and you say something weird or profound, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally do that."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend any of her books. I haven't finished this one yet. This one's a little more raw because she's also dealing with issues with memory loss. And I lost a grandmother to Alzheimer's, so I've had to back off on some of the chapters that are a little intense. But even the ones that aren't, it's still super funny, very profane. And since I pre-ordered, I won a cross-stitch kit from the publisher of one of the weird sayings from in the book. I have no idea what it is. I can't wait to get it.
Fun.
So I'm Aaron. The last book I read was the first book in the Cthulhu casebooks, Sherlock Holmes and the Shadwell Shadows. Basically, it is exactly what you think it is. It's Sherlock Holmes versus the Cthulhu mythos. Similar to Joe's read, it's pure comfort food. It's Sherlock Holmes' greatest hits. You've got Moriarty. You've got a book that drives people mad. You've got it's just checking off the checklist of, if you're a fan of the cosmic horror and Sherlock Holmes, I can easily see this being a less terrible Moffat movie.
And who's the author, Aaron?
Oh, I'm sorry. James Lovegrove. James Lovegrove.
That's gotta be a student.
Oh yeah, that's very much. Very much so.
Otherwise, that was just some incredible serendipity for his subject matter.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolute cotton candy, and because we're still in April of 2020, it's the perfect, it's just like that perfect level of brain food and also candy.
Yeah.
So who's next?
Oh, I can go. Hello, I'm Sarah Jane Connor. I just had to decide what I was going to do by scrolling through my Goodreads really quickly at the beginning of this recording. But I'm going to talk about, my recommendation is The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tay. It is a mystery novel, but it's like the most low-key mystery novel I've ever read. It's just like about a dude sitting in a hospital bed with a broken leg, like doing a bunch of research to figure out like what really went down with Richard III. And like it is somehow incredibly compelling. Like I don't know why, like, but it works.
Yeah, the premise alone. All right, Tracy, what is a book that you have read at one point in your life, if not recently?
Well, so I'm currently reading Lovecraft Country. I realize I'm like late to the game, so
We haven't gotten to it yet. We have it all downloaded and haven't watched it. So.
Okay, so it's Matt Ruff. I started watching the show too, and I had to stop because I wanted to finish reading the book first. And the TV show is obviously like very different. So, but it's set in the early 1950s, and it's a group of African-American characters who are experiencing like Lovecraftian themes throughout their like interactions with a group of like white wizards, not the KKK, but just it's a very interesting set of stories. It's like 8 different stories are told throughout the book, and so far I would say it's written really well. I really like it. The characters are really like interesting as standalone characters, and then how they interact with one another, how they're linked to one another is very interesting as well.
Very nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so I have to ask, just related to what you're talking about, Tracy, have any of you guys seen Black Dynamite on
Yes.
It's so good. I love it, and it's I can't decide if it's racist. I can't. It's so
Black
good.
Dynamite?
Dude. Oh my God. Like, have you seen the recent episode, like the one with Bill Cosby? We'll talk about it some other time.
Wait. I just know the movie. Is there a show?
No, there's a cartoon, and it's on HBO Max, and it looks like the Boondocks. Like, it's got that flavor to it. But when you watch it, you should just watch it, Chris, and tell me what you think.
I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
It's like the character is kind of like a Jim like a Jim Kelly, Rudy Ray Moore mixture.
Well, I mean, the movie is a parody of the black exploitation movies of the early 70s.
Right, and that's kind of what the cartoon. Wait, what's the one that Eddie Murphy was recently in?
Coming to America too?
No. Hang on, I'm gonna find it. God, this is like Alzheimer's time.
I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy was in anything recently was a little surprising.
Yeah,
for all
Pluto
of
Nash?
No. Hang on, I'm gonna find it.
Oh, Beverly Hills Cop, right? Yeah.
Trading Places.
Damn it, you guys, you're killing me. Oh man,
Golden Child,
Haunted Mansion.
Dolomite is my name.
Okay.
Did you guys not see that?
Nope.
That's fucking amazing. That's the one that's got Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes and Keegan-Michael Key and Craig Robinson.
Joe, I've never seen a movie in my life.
And Craig Robinson from The Office is in it. There's like it's great, but it's the same thing. It's like the story of Rudy Ray Moore, basically.
Oh, I missed that. I looked that up.
Yeah. Blaxploitation is really like an interesting thing, and every time I watch it I just realize how much about it I don't understand. Which is always, it's nice for anything. So there's some stuff that
what you're seeing now is blaxploitation being like recontextualized and owned by actual black creators for black audiences,
right,
as opposed to the old blaxploitation movies which were made by people who look like me.
Yeah, or at least those are the people who made the money, because there was like what was the guy's first name? It was like Van Peebles, who did a bunch of those movies. But yeah,
Mario Van Peebles, or was that his son?
I don't know. That's what I was gonna say, and I was like,
this could be a whole new episode.
Like his son made like a biopic about him.
Yeah, I think it must have been.
Like, I think one of them was Mario and one of them was like Martin.
Luigi.
God.
Yeah. You nailed it,
That's
Chris.
an entirely different kind of racism.
Melvin is his dad.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Melvin
yes.
Van Peebles.
It's Melvin Van Peebles. Okay.
We
Anyway,
got there.
That's our next episode. Just that's what I
I
was
was
talking
about to
about.
say Mario. I only know from like action films. I didn't
Yeah.
like what?
Mario Van Peebles, he made a Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about new stuff, you guys? Who's feeling that after the conversation we just had? Who wants to talk?
Well, if we're going to talk about vague racism, we would have to start with Mortal Kombat.
Oh God. Yeah.
Get it out of
I
the way.
didn't, guys. I didn't watch Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Sarah. You already know everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Aaron fell asleep watching it.
Yeah. For like 5 minutes.
Sarah, I'm jealous.
Well,
Yeah.
since Wendy has given us our first segue ever, let's just go with that. Let's just go with So we all watched the new Mortal Kombat, which came out Friday.
So we literally just established that we did not all watch the
Not
Mortal
all of us.
Kombat.
Some of us. We're gonna all talk about it, whether or not we watched it. How about that?
Some of us saved themselves in time. You have to work really hard to make a movie with that many action sequences in it. So incredibly dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching the beginning of it in a hospital parking lot on a cell phone, waiting for my wife to finish up so I could pick her up. I fell asleep in a running car in the patient pickup lane, trying to watch a fucking action film.
Yeah.
That's how bad this movie is.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a stage combat nerd.
Yeah.
And a professional haunter. So my first comment about the movie was, wow, that's some really shitty stage blood. It's clear. Blood doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Hey, but it gave us backstories to all the things us fans really want. We had the backstory to the harpoon for some reason. We get an entire backstory for Scorpion, who disappears and doesn't show up for 2 hours.
Yeah.
We get backstories for an entirely new character that doesn't come from anything that no one cares about because he's dull as shit.
Chris, you may have slept through this part, but you know that was supposed to be Johnny Cage, right?
No, it wasn't.
No.
Johnny Cage. No,
Did
Johnny
you miss
Cage.
the end?
The end. He said he was going to Hollywood
To go
get
get
Johnny
Johnny
Cage.
Cage.
Did I fall asleep? I thought that was like a flash forward to his movie poster.
No.
No, I know.
No.
I didn't watch this movie, but did anyone watch this movie?
As Chris put it, this movie pulled a high school musical in that it was supposedly about this world-spanning tournament, which doesn't actually happen in the movie.
Yeah.
They
This is
never
all some
had
kind
the
of
tournament.
weird lead-up.
Yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat. You had one job. It's a movie about a fighting tournament. And
I
there's
can't
no
believe
fighting
there's an
tournament.
overlap in the Venn diagram between High School Musical and Mortal Kombat. Incredible.
Yeah. So Wendy, what was the part that where did you see racism?
The whole movie just made me feel extremely. It was almost, I can't nail my finger on it because they aren't nailing any particular nationality, but
it's just like all kind of
the
vague Orientalist.
magical Asian stuff just made me want to take a shower.
Well, we were wondering at the beginning because they had like in the subtitles they were basically saying that Sub-Zero was speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
And
Kasha was apparently speaking Chinese, but that apparently was unimportant in their ability to understand.
Yeah, like they didn't explain. And also he comes from a different dimension, so that was confusing.
Real quick, I'm just going to throw it out there. This is the only nice thing I'm going to say about this whole movie. This is the only American movie ever made that acknowledges that Chinese and Japanese are different languages.
Yeah.
Right?
Because Scorpion is speaking in Chinese. Or no, Sub-Zero speaks in Chinese, and then Scorpion is Japanese. And there's the moment where Scorpion's talking to him for several minutes, and then Scorpion's going, I can't understand a word you're saying, but I guess we're gonna fight now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here's
the last thing that Beyond says, he says, for the whatever it is clan. So it's suddenly in English.
Actually, here's the absolute worst moment in terms of English translation.
Oh, my thing at the end.
At the very end of the movie, Scorpion says, "Thank you for saving my soul from hell," and he says this in Japanese to an American from Chicago who a descendant who has up to this point shown no indication of having any reason to know Japanese.
Says, thank you for saving my bloodline. And I looked at Aaron and I'm like, he doesn't fucking speak Japanese.
Yeah.
He can't read the subtitles. What is going on here?
Yeah.
Look, you've never had someone speak to you in another language and you just kept nodding and going, okay, let's see if we can get through this.
Let's hope that's what was supposed to be happening.
Yeah. Now, I'm a stage combat nerd, so I gotta come in here.
Yeah.
I am willing to watch a lot of crap for good action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
And while the action sequences in this movie were very well executed, they were extremely unimaginative. Frankly, the best part of the movie was that opening sequence with Sub-Zero and Kancho. Like, I would have watched an entire movie about that backstory. The problem is that they used it to bookend 2 hours of a really shitty action movie in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's also the only time when anyone fights more than one person at a time.
Yeah.
Every other time they're one-on-one combat.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever played D&D knows you don't send the tank up against the tank.
Yeah.
You don't send the speedster up against the speedster.
Yeah.
It makes for boring fights.
Yeah.
That is also the one Mortal Kombat-esque thing they got right, is that every time they fight, they all pair off. And it's like, okay. And every single fight has the exact energy of watching your little brother play a video game.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like you're just sitting there watching them going, okay, sure, he did the move. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Oh, he did the fatality. That's pretty funny.
See.
And then the racism thing, I have to point out, I couldn't help but laugh when racism is actually Kano's superpower.
Yes.
Because he's trying to, all of them you have an arcana. You must unlock, because we have to have one consistent story for all their different powers now, I guess. So they have to unlock their arcana. And Kano's arcana is, if he yells racist shit enough, his eye turns into a laser.
Yeah.
Yeah, his superpower is that he's an asshole with a laser beam.
Yeah.
Which is Kano, to be fair.
It's accurate.
But rather than having a robot eye, it's just, oh my God, the robot. Did anyone else, just almost despite yourself, laugh hysterically the first time you saw Jackson's chicken arms?
His little T-Rex arms? Yes.
They put on his first set of arms, and Sarah, they look like they pulled them off the battle droids from Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're just these
and
little
stuck them on a
arms.
large, muscular black man.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then his arcana, when he unlocked it, was just, what if my robot arms... His arms don't grow back, but his magical power is, what if my robot arms didn't suck and just got bigger?
But here, one of the things that just bugged the crap out of me is, there wasn't, to my satisfaction, there wasn't any explanation for why, say, a special forces officer couldn't say, raid a weapons locker, get a whole shit ton of grenades, and solve the problem.
You've got cool tattoos. I have high explosives.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
But I did a little bit of research. The Fighter Ranger is a man named Chad Griffin, who has a martial arts background and is listed as a stunt actor, but he's a stunt performer. He doesn't seem to have any experience in fight arranging.
Yeah.
Which means you get movies that look like that. Comparison to, we were discussing with a movie, for example, like The Old Guard.
Yeah.
Where every character has a distinct fighting style that is suited to their history and their character and a favorite weapon. And the fights are interesting because of that. This was just like, okay, and now we're gonna fight and you're going to magically grow blocking sticks out of your fake armored arms because that's a thing that happens.
Wendy, be fair.
so-
They all have very different fighting styles. One guy has a hammer, and it's hammer style. One guy has hooks, and he has hook fighting style.
I have seen a guy stunt fight with a big ass hammer. It doesn't move like that shitty CGI big ass hammer.
Nope.
Hey, it was like foam rubber sometimes.
It was like on a broom handle. It was like a big hammer on a broom handle.
Yeah.
That's not how physics works.
The whole movie, it's like everything is just either CGI or styrofoam, right? Like everything is constantly blowing around. Oh my God. Very expensive looking movie.
I mean, is that not the mood for 2021, really?
But really, it just made me so nostalgic for the old Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, I know. The first one especially.
Oh,
yeah.
All I wanted from this movie is to have something as much fun as watching a rubber suit Goro get punched in the dick while techno plays.
And his eyes bug out. Oh my God. That's going to be our splash image, by the way.
Yeah, and that, come on. The soundtrack to the original Mortal Kombat is one of the coolest movie soundtracks ever made.
It is.
Yeah, the music in this, I remember nothing about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I have an important question as somebody who did not watch this movie.
Yeah.
Did the sheriff from Teen Wolf show up at any point?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I figured I was the control group. I've never played the video game. I knew nothing about it. And so I was the one who was trying to figure out if it made a lick of sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
No.
And I don't think it cares.
Yeah.
But like I said, there was actually, I would have wanted to watch a movie about the Kancho and is it Bishan? The Sub-Zero and the
Scorpion.
Yeah.
But like I said, the problem is this: there was at least 3 movies going on here.
Yeah.
And most of them weren't any good.
Yeah.
No,
and there were so many characters that
the thing
you
about
didn't care
Mortal
about
Kombat
anyone.
is there's just so many characters,
Yeah.
and like that's a really difficult thing to pull off, and it does not sound like it did that.
No.
Right. So the logical thing to do is to ignore your 40 existing characters and invent a new one with some really vague powers that no one cares about.
Oh,
Right.
And speaking of the made up lead character, when he grew his body
Brass armor.
blast
His metal shirt, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I was reminded one thing that drives me up the wall with movies made post 2000 is this weird thing that costumers have to have. Every item of clothing has to be have texture all over it. They did it with the Abrams Star Trek shirts. They did it with this movie. They're doing it with Shang Chi. Sometimes a shirt can just be cotton, and just have color and be flat. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to have like the Avengers A on in every seam.
Right.
It's
So we'll ask Tracy specifically what she thought too, but I gotta say my favorite character in this movie was Twink Liu Kang. I loved him. He was ridiculous. I was like, I was not expecting. So like in the old Mortal Kombat, can anyone remember the guy who played Liu Kang like in the first one?
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he had a very different look. This Liu Kang looked like Michael Jackson. Like he had Michael Jackson energy, and it was adorable. I fucking loved him. But yeah, I don't know. I was lost through a lot of it.
Robin Show.
Yeah. Tracy.
Although having watched the guy fight with the big spinning metal hat, it did in fact compare unfavorably with the big spinning metal shield in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I was looking, I'm like, he threw it and it got stuck in the wall. I'm like, we were just watching this on a different show last week.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was so much better.
So I was listening to a podcast that's just like, it's like mini documentaries about how video games were made. And there was one that was about Mortal Kombat, and they were talking with some of the guys who like came up with the original one. And it sounds like they just sat around and just came up with stupid ideas for characters like while they were drunk, and that's causing all the problems. Like that's the root of every Mortal Kombat problem right there, because most of those characters are still around.
Well, yeah, okay, back in the 90s, like when you're churning out this shit, no one was doing world building. Really?
No,
right?
like
it was
there's
all
not a story to Mortal Kombat is the thing. You're just fighting some dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 2D game. There's not even a third dimension.
No. Well, and then Sarah, what you've missed though is then the last 30 fucking years of these games, they keep coming up with more and more, like they've been trying to build a lore in a game that was never designed to have one. Like
it ruins it. It's supposed to be fucking stupid.
It's just about punching.
Right. Look, all of you,
it's not just about punching. It's about hitting people with your hat.
Right.
That's true.
We are at most 3 years from someone trying to make a prestige drama out of Earthworm Jim. Look, I'm just saying.
Would watch.
Would watch that.
I would love you to see that.
Yeah.
All right, Tracy, you have to give us your take on Mortal Kombat, because I'm curious, because you're also somewhat of a control group in yourself.
Well, I used to play Mortal Kombat like at the arcade, but I never like got that into like the characters like backstories. I just know that I liked certain characters to play for their winning abilities, but I loved the opening scene. Like I loved the opening scene of this film. I thought it was beautiful. It made me hopeful for the rest of the movie. I thought that the blood looked really interesting in the opening scene. Like I was into like the weird like thick blood substance that came out of everybody.
The jam.
Yeah,
jam
bleeds like a plastic bag stuffed with raspberry jam.
Yeah.
But I was there. Exactly, but I was there for it. I was like, this is interesting. Like, let's see where this goes. And then I thought that like everything just sort of fell apart from there. I thought that there could have been a lot of interesting stuff between like the father and daughter with the new main character. I thought they set it up for that, and then I didn't see it. I thought that there could have been a lot of interesting stuff between like the potentiality of him losing his family, and then, you know, we see like that things don't go that way. But once I realized that there was not going to be an actual Mortal Kombat arena fight, once I realized he was going to fight Sub-Zero and that his ancestor was going to very likely like show up, that was whenever I just said, like, this is not Mortal Kombat. Like this is you've missed the mark. You can't call this Mortal Kombat without there being an actual arena fight where you're having the souls sucked from the people afterwards and having everyone vanquished like that. Because Joe and I recently rewatched all of the movies, and so like it's top of mind. So like I think that the movie just definitely missed a lot of the keystones of what it is to be a Mortal Kombat movie. So
yeah. Tracy,
I would have watched a Scorpion and Sub-Zero origin movie.
Oh yeah.
I would have watched a pseudo X-Files, but with the two X Special Forces people finding out about the tournament. That would have been an interesting story. And then there was whatever else was in there. The problem is they were all in the same 2 hours on the same screen.
Yeah.
Right. And Tracy, can I ask you something? Have you been pool sharking me with Mortal Kombat?
No.
Because you just admitted that you played it as a kid, and then we'll be playing it, and she'll just be whooping my ass, just like ridiculous. And she's like, I've never played this before. You've been fucking pool sharking me.
Joe, I mean, we've also well established that you suck ass at fighting games.
I suck at Mortal Kombat, definitely. But still, Tracy has been... Yeah. Okay.
Also,
so now
like
I know.
Tracy was alive in the 90s. Didn't we all like play Mortal Kombat in a Pizza Hut at some point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pantera's Pizza for Chris and I.
No, because I was out of college by then.
Yeah.
No, but their insistence on like, oh, we have to recreate some of like they want to have it both ways. Or they want this like, oh, this is going to be like a serious, realistic take, but then we have to like work in the special moves somehow. Like, oh, we got to have the bicycle kick. We got to have
you got to have the Jack squishing the dude's head. It's like
we got to have. I figure the the sawing the lady in half with the spinning hat had to have been like something from the video game.
Yeah. And also I'm a quiet, meek person who, at the end of a fight that I didn't want to necessarily get into, I shout fatality for because that is consistent with my character.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Scorpion speaks one line in English, and that's "get over here."
Yeah.
The rest of the time he speaks. I do wish we would have had Baraka in this movie, just because he has my favorite special move of any of the games. Because his special move is to put his claws out and just go like this in the corner. I'd be like, his entire move is just, I'm going to do this, and if you get in my way, that's your fault.
But I have bad news for everyone, though. They're planning 3 more if this one does it all well.
Of course
this was supposed to be the prelude.
Oh my god.
And it will do well because we're all bored and want, stupid entertainment, and of course in the international market
China will fucking love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, China will absolutely take this over the top, man.
Do you all think that's why they randomly had Sub-Zero speak Chinese?
No.
That would be that's too clever.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't put that much
shot
thought
in
into
Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the actors are Australian.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, the Fighter Ranger's Australian.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kano is Australian, but everyone else was.
Kano was
the fight choreographer is Australian but has a background in capoeira, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Kano is supposed to be Australian and has a background in overacting.
I was wondering, okay, so his apparently superpower is he's a cartoon Australian dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to it's hard to take Australian racism and make it seem over the top, but hey, here he is.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
And make it boring at the same time.
Chris is coming for Australia.
His big give me a fucking egg roll, and then shoots a laser out of his eye. Yeah, Sarah, this movie sucks ass.
Yeah. Just
save your time.
Oh god.
Save your time.
There's still time to save yourself.
Yeah.
So I think Tracy and I will both recuse ourselves from discussion of Falcon and Winter Soldier because we just didn't. Who wants to talk about it?
Well,
Okay.
I will say I wasn't able to listen to last week's episode, so I don't know what you guys talked about on that one.
All right.
I don't think we talked about Falcon.
No,
Did you guys talk about it?
I would like to
Okay.
really congratulate Disney Plus for recreating the experience of reading comic books with these series.
Yeah.
Specifically the limited run series, like in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where it continues the age-old Marvel Comics tradition of setting up the premise on dealing with an issue of importance and big thoughts and then refusing to engage with them whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then ending with a wet fart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I see. You see, I bought a little more into what they were doing with Sam's character, partially both as a Black man who is considering taking on the shield of Captain America, but also as a veteran who counsels veterans with PTSD.
Yeah.
That's how he met. That's how he met Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So to take that arc and bring it back to not just him accepting that it's a complicated legacy, but also honestly the best thing that he does as Captain America is not fight. It's basically tell people they're wrong.
Uh-huh.
Tell people they need to do better.
Yeah.
I love Sam. I thought, all the stuff with Sam was great. I thought if they had come up with a story that actually made what he was going through relevant to the story, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But instead, they take this story of a Black man struggling to find his place in the country and coming to terms with his own patriotism and, the history of racism, and this story of refugees and anarchist politics. And they're just like trying to mush them together in a way that eventually comes together in one of the worst hero speeches I have ever heard in my life.
It was incredibly awkward. Like,
look,
like
I know it's hard. I mean, I don't
agreed
have
with everything
any
he was saying. It was just an awkward speech.
Yeah. No.
I'm a sap. I liked it.
Yeah.
But that's because I liked it specifically in contrast to having to listen to John Walker's bullshit for like 5 episodes. I like the fact that they played up that being a good soldier does not make you a good Captain America.
Yeah.
Because you have to make compromises and you have to make choices. And I think Russell did a very good job getting a lot of flack online for doing an outstanding job of being completely unlikable.
Yeah.
But that's what he was told to do.
Yeah.
I personally been referring to it as Captain America. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the replacement Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, there's a really great article breaking down how John Walker as the new Captain America, breaking down what they did with him visually and costume wise. That clues you into the fact that he's basically being set up to become a villain. Steve's red, white, and blue. His red was always sort of a maroon color, more blue toned, whereas the costume they put Walker in is almost a turquoise blue and an orange red. So they clash. They're visually unpleasant to look at. They shoot him from awkward angles that make him Captain Wide Face. And then when he finally takes his helmet off, he's just always got stubble and he's always doing this, like he has no control over anything. I honestly think that Russell's performance is one of the better things to come out of this.
The performance is great.
Because he's playing a character who's unlikable, that he's getting shit online. Like he's getting death threats online for.
I suspect he's probably also getting death threats from folks who are having an aneurysm at the thought of a black Captain America. They probably saw John Walker as, oh, he's our guy. He's America first, yada, yada, yada.
And then standing there with the Captain America shield with blood on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a very strong visual. And as I put on there, Steve Rogers is the Captain America is the America we wish we think we are.
Yeah.
John Walker is the America we are.
Yeah.
And Sam Wilson is the America we could be.
Yeah.
So
it sounds simplified, but I again, it's a comic book, so I'm not expecting a whole amount of depth.
Right.
But I think given what it was trying to do, I think it was at least moderately successful in doing what it set out to do.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, my understanding is, this is all rumor and who knows how much of it is true, that they were kind of rewriting right up to the last minute because they had an original plot based around a pandemic. That was displacing people. Yeah. And so that all had to get rewritten sort of on the fly.
Yeah.
But because of that, we get things like we're constantly referencing camps that we never see.
Yeah.
We don't know what these camps are like that motivates Carly to begin with.
I mean, we do actually see it like that.
No. Resettlement centers.
Yeah.
They're rebels.
Okay.
They ran away from the camps. That was a breakaway group because remember they all got rounded up by the GRC after. Yeah, it was that whole thing. Like those people were actually like a splinter group.
But I thought that was a GRC
No
location.
No, because none of those people were GRC. That was all being run by the Black Hand or whatever the hell they called themselves.
The Flag Smashers.
Flag Smashers, sorry.
Yes. The quiet dignity of the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, you've got a lot of like babies first, extremist politics introduction going on. Of like, it's like a very like 1980s understanding of anarchism.
Yeah, it's like a Tom Clancy understanding.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that the leader of this, everybody's like, oh, the first episode is, oh, there's this guy, he's real strong, he must be the leader. And it turns out that the leader is a kind of short, red-headed woman with freckles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that they did that.
Yeah.
There's a moment where I thought maybe they knew what they were doing. My favorite episode of the whole series is just Sam and Bucky fix a boat. Right?
Yes, that is objectively the best episode.
Yeah, where they literally just hang out and fix a boat. But there's this moment where he's like, hey, maybe the community can help. And there's this brief moment where they get so close to understanding mutual aid, right? Where they're like, oh, the community can come together to help this problem that the government and the banks aren't helping with. And I thought, oh, this is how this is going to end. This is going to end with Sam and Bucky going to these camps and like helping out and showing people like how to help each other and not relying on the GRCs. But no, they fuck off back to Louisiana to the Sam Bank. They're like, hey, I know shit sucks for you, but we killed the person who was trying to help you. So go eat shit and live in a camp. I'm going off to eat some clams.
Yeah, that's one thing that also frustrated me. And you Chris, you touched on it a little bit with your initial critique. With Agent Carter 2.0, with Agent Carter 2.0, we're introduced to a character who's been royally fucked over by the government and by the Avengers. Royally screwed over, and has a justifiable reason for going all information broker.
I pegged that after episode 2.
Yeah. But
I told Aaron, I said, put it on paper.
Yeah.
I want it down there. I know who the power broker is.
Right. Power broker, that's what it was. But the thing that makes me just, I'm really interested to see what they do with her character, because there's going to be a Captain America 4 where they're going to build on a lot of the stuff from this. But it ends with, the American government did some bad things, but we're going to be the good guys. We're suddenly going to be the good guys, and we're going to give you back your old job. And what that does is it draws it messages to the audience, we're not the bad guys. Carter's the bad guy. Is the bad guy. So we're fine. Our hands are clean.
I don't think that message did it at all. The message I got was that the government can say everything is fine, but it doesn't actually fix anything.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think they did a good job though of using that exact same room, the one scene before.
Yeah.
For bringing U.S. Agent into the fold.
Oh,
They're like, hey, we know you're a murderous psychopath. We have a job for people like you, by the way. Hey, come on board. Okay, now everybody has to leave for the photo op, or we're going to do something good.
Well, they're clearly setting up for some version of Thunderbolts, or that one time where what's his name, Norman Osborn took over the Avengers and replaced it with like the evil versions of everybody.
I will say
also,
though that
sidebar, how great was Julie Louis-Dreyfus in this?
Oh yeah,
so good.
She showed up twice, and she was amazing.
What episode was she in? I'm watching that shit.
She's in the last 2, I think.
Last 2.
Okay. They're all kind of blending together for me, but I think it was the last
Aaron's
2.
got the background on this.
All right, so she apparently plays a huge role in Scarlet Witch.
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Which would have been out by now already, so we would already know who she is by the time they make it.
Yeah.
Except we don't.
Yeah.
And I think it still works. Like Julie Louis-Dreyfus shows up, and you're just like, hell yeah. You'll be vaguely evil. I'm into it.
But that's why is that it was assumed that by this point we would know who she is.
There's a great article about the links that they went to conceal the fact that she was a part of this project. They had her wearing these like this pretty much head to toe black cloak to get her in and out of the set.
But Aaron has some really good stuff to say also about what they did with Baron Zemo in this versus the comic books. And how, honestly, his character arc is almost more relatable than that of most of the heroes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the comic book, for those of you who don't follow, who haven't been a fan of the Avengers for forever, in the comic book, Baron Zemo is just an out-and-out racist Nazi monster, and the reason why he wears that ridiculous purple hood is because he got a face full of adhesive from, at the time, Paste Pot Pete, who later became the Trickster, Trapster. And so he's underneath that hood, he's all bleh. He looks like Deadpool. In
the MCU,
but specifically in Civil War, his motivation is totally understandable in that the Avengers destroyed his homeland and killed his family.
So there's and so rather than being the typical supervillain and taking them out, he manipulates his way to get them to take them to destroy themselves.
Right, and also the viewer is led to believe in the movie that he's gonna gather a whole bunch of super soldiers and be super Nazi guy. No, he kills the super soldiers because we can't have super soldiers. These people need to be stopped now. And in Winter Soldier, in the TV series Falcon and Winter Soldier, his reasons for participating in all of this are totally understandable. And he's like, yes, these not necessarily killed, but there needs to be greater control over walking death machines.
And using him to back up Walker's story with the super serum makes you more. It just makes you more. And how is anyone who takes the serum not an extremist?
Yeah.
When the most rational and logical person in the show is supposedly the villain.
Yeah.
I do love the unwritten line. The moment when they're walking towards his plane, and then Sam's like, "You have a plane? What are you, rich?" And he's like, "I'm a baron." And then you have that moment where Sam and Bucky look at each other, and what they don't say is, "Oh, I thought his first name was Baron."
Yeah.
I also did rather like the Sam complaining that he looks like a pimp, and he's like, "What does it say about you that you immediately assume that a fashion-forward African-American man looks like a pimp?"
Oh yeah, well he has a number of great lines like that. I forget where he's talking about what band was it? Where Sam responds, he's out of line, but he's right.
He was saying that Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. It's
Trouble Man.
Yeah.
I like.
I mean, Zemo honestly is in many ways the most fully developed and the most understandable character.
Yeah.
Given his background, of course, there's serum lying around. What's the first thing he does? Smash the living crap out of it so no one else can have it.
Yeah.
He's consistent. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Although I also really liked, I have to say, I loved the fight scene when the Dora Milaje show up to take Zemo into custody.
Yeah.
Because they are using the exact amount of force that is necessary to accomplish their goals, which is they want Zemo. These other people are just in the way.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
And so they pin Walker's shield, which is like his big deal, and they literally disarm Bucky.
Yeah.
Which now that's getting a lot of pushback online. Yes, I can totally see that she's just really. It's not a set kill switch. That's just she is capable of precisely and quickly hitting the release sequence. But it's getting a lot of pushback online from a lot of people in the disability community who are like, "You took his prosthesis. That's like a bodily violation." Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of the talk online is coming from people within that community. And I can't blame them at all.
Yeah.
No, but it is consistent with the Wakandans who, especially in the comics, like their number one trait is that Wakanda trusts no one.
Yeah.
That's
Ever.
true.
Like,
And Chris, I like you made the observation somewhere else of Bucky is exactly the person who wouldn't read the directions.
right. Like, did you know I could do that? He's like, I mean, they gave me the instructions, but like, eh.
But what one last observation about Zemo is one thing I'm absolutely loving about the MCU as a whole is playing with the expectations of the audience. I expected Zemo to be blah ha ha, I'm going to take over the world, blah ha ha, because that's the Zemo I was introduced to. Same thing happened with the third Iron Man movie of, oh wow, they're really going to go there and have the Mandarin, and this is going to be embarrassing because it's not going to be a good look. Oh, cool. He's not the green. He's not the Yellow Peril. He's just a drunk British actor they hired to scare white Americans. It's
But no, I quite enjoyed the series. Interestingly enough, it is being submitted for Emmy consideration as a best dramatic series, as opposed to WandaVision, which is submitted in the best limited series. So the door is open for a season 2.
Yeah.
Because of the way they're because if they weren't planning a season 2, it would qualify under best limited.
Yeah.
So the fact that there are, at least on paper, planning a season 2 called Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if we got nothing else to talk about on that, hey, did everybody see the Shang Chi trailer?
Yeah.
Did anyone else like me watch it like 8 times in a row and go, fuck yeah?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to them finally going back and exploring the 10 rings, because that's been in the DNA since the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I'm just really, really, really hoping that they renamed his dad.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that we don't have to sit through a movie with a villain named Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, buddy, the 50s were a weird time. Oh boy, but Shang-Chi is awesome. I love him. He's just a kick-ass ninja who beats the shit out of people, and we lost Joe.
Oh.
He looked
Where'd he
real
go?
confused, and then it paused up, and then he hates Shang-Chi, apparently.
I will investigate. I will get back to you and let
That's
you know
going
what's
to be a
going on
problem,
with Joe.
because who's officially recording this?
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
Chris is.
Yeah,
Chris
no,
I'm like,
is.
if we just lost our host, we have a problem.
Yeah.
I thought you did video and Joe did the audio though.
Oh no, I record all of it. Joe just edits
okay.
the audio.
Okay.
Because I was that happened in a panel that I was when I was doing virtual Capricorn, where these Zoom panelists all lost access to the Discord because the guy who was bridging and doing the recording, there was a Comcast outage.
Oh no.
There we go.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
We haven't been fanning over Shang-Chi. We've been watching The Nevers on HBO Max,
Which is totally not Aaron's jam, but it's totally mine.
Yeah.
It's, man, I don't know. We could do a whole discussion on that at some point. It has a lot of promise.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much stuff going on.
It's, oh my God. That show to me has the feeling of a show that has no security. Like it's terrified of being canceled.
Yeah.
Well,
because the pilot feels like they crammed a season and a half's worth of plots into the pilot.
Trope.
Okay,
Right.
well,
Now,
as a heads up, they shot 6 episodes, and that's what's being released now. And then they replaced Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first season is only 6 episodes long, and then their second season is once they figured out what else was going on.
Yeah.
Officially, they're saying it's the second half of the first season.
Right.
That's being released as a different group. Yeah. I look forward to seeing, because like here's the thing, the two main characters, I love them. I'm on board. I'm gonna keep watching. I love these two. I kind of hope, they replace Joss and they bring in someone who's willing to do like one plot at a time.
We've got I think at least 3 secret societies at this point going on.
There's 2 secret societies, a mad scientist, a definitely not Victorian X-Men orphanage. Like I haven't seen any top hats or goggles yet, which is pretty impressive for a definitely not steampunk, definitely not X-Men series.
Whereas I'm following the podcast and I'm like going back and watching episodes and catching shit I didn't catch before because it is so thick. Now, granted, that can be off-putting, but I did go back after listening to the first episode of the official podcast, which is a fair amount of faffing, but does have some, hey, did you notice this? I went back and watched the first 2 episodes again and noticed stuff I didn't notice the first time. So it can be, yes, it's a lot, it's so much as to be incoherent. On the other hand, it does hold up well to repeat viewing.
Yeah, I mean, this show, like, oh my God, its insistence on just, the pilot is a mess. Like there's just so much happening. It's not even really a mess. It's just like, let's make sure the audience is never stable for 2 seconds. Let's make sure we're always throwing something new. Like the very last scene of the pilot episode is like, oh, by the way, an alien spacecraft crashed into the middle of London and no one remembers except the crazy lady.
Oh, yeah. Malady is the only one who remembers it.
Yeah.
Right. And the season, like the second episode, they're throwing blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, this person you thought was good is bad, blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, Malady's like the main character's childhood friend or something. It's just throwing shit constantly.
Yeah.
It's
very full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very full and somewhat crowded.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
I'm willing to go with that, but I can see how it is off-putting. It's totally not Aaron's jam. He's probably not even going to watch episode 3.
Yeah.
Whereas I will watch it obsessively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had anybody had a chance to watch Shadow and Bone yet?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, like I'm very looking forward to Tsarist Avatar.
Yeah, I've just been watching all the way through Warrior, Chris. That's been my jam lately.
It's so good, isn't it?
And did you all notice in Mortal Kombat? Well, I guess you would have had to have also seen Warrior, but the guy who plays Sub-Zero is like one of the
enforcers,
tertiary characters also in Warrior.
He like, you know, in every kung fu movie, there's the guy who stands in the back and doesn't say anything, so you know he's really good. He's that guy.
Yeah. In the 80s, I forget the guy's name, but he was like the super buff dude in Bloodsport. I forget what the hell his name was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, have we ever talked about the history of Bloodsport?
No.
We could. I swear you and I at least have had like multiple hour conversations about about Frank
Dukes. Yeah, the greatest con man in the history of 80s
we've talked about this before. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember who was on the podcast, but I feel like we've definitely talked about this.
We have definitely talked about it before.
Oh yeah. Wendy, if you ever get a chance to ever seen Bloodsport, I assume
at least Joe and I have heard this monologue.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh yeah, no. So Bloodsport, which is the like
original. We leave a nice tag for Joe to stop recording. By the way, before all of this.
I'll figure something out.
This is going to be another episode.
Do me a favor and just cut off the actual recording, so that makes it easier for me. Okay,
will do.
That's it for season 4, episode 23 of the Gateway Geeks podcast, Prestige Drama. We'll be taking a week off for vacation finals and other obligations, and we'll be back with you on Wednesday, May 19th. Thanks for listening, and don't forget we're on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. This episode was with Sarah Jane Connor, Tracy Gomillion, Chris Knetzer, Joe Colburn, Aaron Robb, and Wendy Robb. It was edited by Joe Colburn and produced by Joe and Chris.